If you've been following my social media and my other videos, you will see that our boat renovation is slowly coming on, and finally I have my trading wall screen mount back. I will go through this a little bit more detail in another video, but in this video I'm going to share with you month 1 of my small account Forex trading. This is my May recap, so stick around. Hi everybody, it's Emily from the channel Mindfully Trading, where I share videos relating to trading tips as well as my personal trading journey. In a moment I'm going to share with you my May recap, but first let me just catch up on documenting my previous day's trades records into my Excel file. Here I'm just noting my daily trade records into my Excel sheet. There's a link below where you can download a copy of this trade records review sheet. And I'm just finishing up my weekly data metrics as well here. Finally, I better journal key points from May's trading performance that I need to focus on. Here I'm using the free platform of TradeView to do this. Right, let's dive on and break this down together. Hey everybody, as you probably just saw, I've just finished off going through my metrics for the month of May, and I'm using a combination here of 2 different Excel spreadsheets and also the journal page on TradeView, which is a free software. So just going into Excel, here is my trade records data. I do 1 row per trade, and the different color coded rows I have here represent the different days. So you can see I've got the date column here, day 1, 4, 5, all the way down to the last day I traded in May. Now, the last couple of weeks of May for me were quite scatty because if you've been following me, like I said before, on social media, you will see that my husband's been off and we've been renovating our boat. It's been very chaotic, and I tried to trade alongside that, but I found it very difficult because there's so much going on, very distracting and very hard for me to focus and stay in the zone. And the proof of that for me was this really bad big red day, which was the last day I traded in May, and it's really frustrating. It's why I took the rest of May off. That was actually the last Tuesday of May, so I didn't trade Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, because I felt it was good risk management practice to recognize that I'm struggling because there is a blip in my routine, and I wasn't prepared to push myself and trade through it when I could just take a few days off and wait for things to settle and then come back. The market's always there, isn't it, guys? I think it's important to recognise when is good for you to trade and when is not. But, you know, needless to say, I'm a bit annoyed about that. I'm going to show you the weekly view because I think it will just share it a little bit more clearly for you. So here is my weekly review chart for the month of May. And if I just go into the monthly page, you can see here May, my starting balance was 478. I know I said May is month 1, but I actually started just at the end of April, these 3 highlighted days here. I started with a £500 account, and in the first 3 days, I lost £21.62. So I've kind of not included them specifically in this review because they're those kind of couple of days where I go live and I have that emotional response, I suppose, to going live. So for the purposes of May, my starting balance was 478.38. I've actually had a loss of £44.23, so my ending balance for May is £434.15. Now, if I share that in more detail, you'll probably understand why I'm a bit annoyed, and that's because the first 2 weeks of May, well, I did 1 day. So the first weekend, a day of May, I was down £15.28. The following 2 weeks after that, I actually made £23.07. So the sort of first 3 weeks and that odd day of May, I made £7.79. So I was actually up on my monthly starting balance. And then here is where it failed. These 2 days, the last 2 days I traded in May, which was where I described to you where my husband was off this week and I just had 2 big red days. Well, the first red day was 1 losing trade, and that's okay, that's how it goes. But this day here, I took 3 losing trades, and they weren't very good trades. They were counter trend trades. They weren't my optimum strategy, and it was just quite a poor performance. So I'm a bit annoyed about myself for that, because I've got this big red -52 just for those 2 days. And it's quite annoying, because it's like I felt that I'm working so hard. You know, I'm trying to be focused and controlled. I'm taking losers, but I'm trying to be disciplined and climb back out of that hole. And for the most part, I was doing well. I got £7 above that, and, you know, started to get on the right side of growing my account. But then all it takes is, you know, an emotional trade or an emotional day, and it really does set you back. And that's what I've done here. So I took these 3 days off. We're in June now, we're in a new month, and what I've done from this data from my daily trade records here is I've just gone through my notes. That these sort of, the first few columns here are just the actual data of what I traded, what pairs I traded, whether I was long, whether I was short, my position size. And then these columns here are my entries, my stops, my targets, my closing price. I have some columns for winners, some columns for losers. If I go to the bottom here, I've got a section, and strangely enough, I've had an equal number of wins and losers. I've had 20 wins and 20 losing trades. So I've got 50% accuracy, but I can see here that it's my profit and loss that's been letting me down. So I really need to concentrate on letting my winners run, which is what I've put a lot in my description here. So when I went through my notes here, you know, I've bailed early. I could have gotten an extra 40 pips on that one. And that repeats quite a lot in here. So where I've actually made my journal entry for the month of May here in Trader View, you know, I've just reiterated my starting, my ending, the trades, my net, my accuracy, my profit and loss. And then I've written down reflections. And one of my most important points that I've found so far is this aspect of letting winners run. I mean, I do set targets. I set a 1.5 to 1 profit and loss ratio. So I do try to always have bigger winners. But for whatever reason in May, maybe I've been cutting them short because I've been fearing losing, which is emotions again. But I'm aware that I really need to concentrate on letting my winners run. And that's how I'm going to improve this profit and loss ratio here. Because ideally that needs to be at least a 1.3 to 1 for me to be profitable. But it's not, it's negative there. And 50% accuracy, so, you know, it's not that good really compared to the metrics that I recorded on my 30-day demo Forex trading challenge. I did really well on there, but that's where the emotions don't really come in, because you're in a demo, and the moment you go live you have all these extra emotions that you need to process and become aware of. And that's something that I'm going through now, and you know, I'm kind of thinking about my own personal lifestyle and changes I need to make to try to help with my trading performance. So I say I practice meditation daily, but I don't really. I've fallen out of that practice probably in the last month since I've moved house. You know how these things go, you build habits and then a change happens in your life and that habit breaks. And mindfulness meditation is something I've always done, but I haven't actually done it consistently lately. So that's certainly something I'm going to integrate into my daily routine, because I do find it really helps to improve my trading performance, because it helps me to become aware of my emotions when I'm trading. And I think that's what I'm lacking now, and what's given me these poor results. If I was a little bit more grounded, a little bit more focused and aware of my emotions, I may have decided after this first loser here on the last trading day of May that it wasn't my day, that going counter trend trading wasn't the right decision. But instead I decided to take a further 2 trades, and that resulted in an extra £25 loss, or an extra 6% loss on my account. You know, this last day here I lost £39.36, but that works out at 9% on my account, and it's just not good enough really. So I really need to nip that in the bud. I need to work on my emotional trades. I need to get it under control, or as much as I can get that under control. And that's those points that I'm learning by looking at my metrics here, my data. That's what I'm writing in my reflections here. From this, what I've written here, I'll make a little post-it note and stick it on my screen, so that every day when I come, before I trade, I can look at my key points. I can say, right, I need to focus on improving my profit loss ratio. I need to not cut my winners short. I need to let them run. And I can also make sure I've meditated, you know, 10-15 minutes meditation practice before I traded on that day, just to get in the zone. These are the things for me that I'm working on as I can see from my results of May. And what I'm hoping that if I focus on working on these, I can see some improvement in June. You know, right now I really want to, I mean, I don't want to revenge trade. I don't want to say that I need to get my account back up to break even or get back in the green. But I do want to focus on these points. I want to focus on meditating, improving my profit loss ratio, and hopefully by focusing on what I need to improve on, the money will take care of itself, the percentage growth will take care of itself, and my account can slowly start to grow again. That's the idea. But, you know, just to reiterate, I've made a minus £44 net for the month of May. My first account in Forex trading, minus 16, well, round it up to minus 17%. I mean, obviously this is red and I'm not happy, but I know from looking at my metrics that the main result of those negative figures are the last 2 days that I traded, and I know they were quite emotional, so I'm not very happy at that. But at the same time, I think I did well for the most part of May. You know, I had a red week here. I had a very tiny kind of red, more so break-even week here, losing £1. But then this week here, I had a really nice green week. So I know I can do this. I know that I've got the right idea. My strategy works. My risk management could be a bit better, and that's what I'm going to focus on for June. But again, as I said, this big red number here is just for these 2 days, and they're mainly emotional based, and that's what I need to focus on here. It'd be nice to get the accuracy figure up a bit, but the main one for me to focus on is improving my profit and loss ratio. So allowing winners to run. I also need to work a little bit on patience and trust. Quite a lot of my reflections in my daily records here, quite a lot of them say I could have gotten in a little bit of a better position if I'd have waited. Again, I could have waited and got an extra 10 pips on my entry. So I'm quite aware that my patience is another factor, and that again can be kind of improved by practicing this mindfulness meditation, or I don't know what works for you guys. That tends to work for me, and that's what I'm going to stick with here. There we have it. There is my little clip for you, my review for the month of May, month 1 trading Forex as a very small account. So let's just show you again my monthly page here. So, you know, the first 3 days of my live account, I did take a little loss here, which meant that for my first month trading Forex, my starting balance 478 and my ending balance 434, which means that for June, my starting balance is now 434.15. And I'm going to follow the reflections that I made in my trader view journal, and I'm going to keep at it. That's all we can do, isn't it, guys? We've got to grow this small account. We've got to keep at it, be determined, you know, analyze data, see where we're going wrong, focus on the improvements, keep going. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep going. So I hope this has been a good insight for you on small account Forex trading as a beginner. If you've enjoyed it, hit that thumb, give me a like. Subscribe if you haven't already, and any questions or any comments, do leave them below for me and I'll check those out. If you've enjoyed the spreadsheet here, I have got a link to these in the description below and some other resources as well. So I'll catch you in the next video. Bye guys!